The NSA scandal has prompted many to seek ways to evade the all-seeing eye of Washington, giving a boost to many encryption services. It's also pushed governments across the globe to consider creating their own networks in an effort to put a virtual wall between themselves and America. RT's Igor Piskunov has got the details on this.
The internet has never been the same since Edward Snowden's revelations. Now that we know, it's been exploited as a massive spying machine with U.S. security services at the helm. The world is literally wrapped up in tens of thousands of kilometers of cable with enormous amounts of information speeding through them every second. And we know now from leaked documents that under secret agreements with American, British and other partner communication companies around the world, the NSA gets access to that traffic, be it private data or official, that of ordinary people or leaders of states. But not everyone's willing to play this game anymore. For instance, to bypass the NSA, Brazil is reportedly planning to lay an underground fiber optic cable directly to Europe, also linking South Africa, India, China and Russia. The cable could be nearly 34,000 kilometers long and would de facto mean the BRICS countries would be able to create their own internet. China is also reportedly getting rid of IBM hardware due to security concerns and says that chip manufacturers Intel and AMD may not be far behind. While more new proxy services appear around the globe aiming to at least try to secure the identities and private information of users from the NSA. And finally, the EU wants to call time on America's internet monopoly on assigning internet addresses. Washington promises to ease its control over the web, but few are likely to take those pledges at face value. What is likely, though, is the trend to develop a web that bypasses U.S. security services will expand in the coming years.
Washington, left red-faced after the NSA scandal, has amplified its crackdown on whistleblowers. But as RT's Gianni Chikian now reports, they are coming up with new ways to evade censorship and protect themselves.
Secretary of State John Kerry has called on Edward Snowden to man up and come to the U.S., where he would most probably go to jail. The U.S. government is working to make sure there will be no more Edward Snowdens in the future. Meanwhile, other whistleblowers are now promoting new ways for people to reveal wrongdoing without putting their freedom at risk. They came together to launch a new web source called exposefacts.org. It will feature a secure drop for future whistleblowers to submit whatever documents and information they feel the public should know about. People like former National Security Agency official William Binney, who had spoken up against the NSA's dragnet surveillance years before Edward Snowden, and others talked about what they faced when trying to change something from within.
We were met not just with stonewalling, but also with counterattacks. They basically attacked us with the FBI to silence us.
My home was raided by the FBI back in 2007.
I was given a direct order to shut up. And I said no. I made the decision to disobey a direct order.
At the opening ceremony of this new organization, we heard from the legendary whistleblower Daniel Ellsberg, who back in the 1970s showed how the government systematically lied about the U.S. involvement in Vietnam.
All governments lie, and they all like to work in the dark as far as the public is concerned. And a country that wants to be a democracy has to be able to penetrate that secrecy.
Daniel Ellsberg's call on government employees to tell the truth with documents that reveal lies or crimes is mounted on a billboard at a bus stop right next to the U.S. State Department. In Washington, I'm Ganesh Chekyan, RT.
Well, the move against surveillance and government intrusion in privacy has gained enormous support from the internet users. Many website and human rights groups across the globe have joined together in the so-called Reset the Net campaign aimed at promoting a spy-free World Wide Web. Users, developers and content providers are being urged to use spy-resistant software tools. And we spoke to developer Catherine Albrecht, who created a secure service.
It is difficult, but not impossible, to keep your communications out of the hands of the NSA. And the primary way of doing that is through encryption. One of the problems with encryption, though, is it's always been extraordinarily difficult for the average person to use, particularly PGP encryption that's used for email. So one of the projects that I've been involved in, actually for the last several years, is the Start Page search engine, which is encrypted with SSL encryption so that your searches don't all get recorded. So what we do is we submit your searches for you to major search engines like Google, And at that point, we get the Google results. We remove any tracking cookies or other type of things that Google might include in there. We send the results to you in complete privacy, and then we delete all records of your visit, including your IP address. Now, all of that information is transmitted through SSL encryption,